Councillor Emma Toll, Councillor Mike Daniels, thank you for giving me a couple of minutes here. First things first, we're here to discuss the budget. No council tax increase for 2018-19. That sounds like good news, but can you give me a little bit more detail about that?
Yeah, I think this is fantastic news that under years of pressure the Harlow Council has been under, and we've had funding cuts from the government. Last year, and we took the decision to make the key environmental services of Keir, take them into house into a council trading company, HTS. What that has done is enabled us to bring profits from that back into the council. The profits that they have made has meant that we're able to pass that on to the council taxpayers. We understand that things are tough, that things are hard for people out there in Harlow, and what we're keen to do is pass that on. So yes, we're freezing council tax. The only thing I would say about that is obviously we are one part of the council tax. People pay even though every Harlow residents will pay their council tax to Harlow Council, part of that is set by Essex County Council, who we believe are going to increase their council tax, the police, who are also going to increase it, and fire authorities we don't yet know. But Harlow Council, we're committed to freezing it and no increase for the next year.
So Mike Danvers, Councillor Mike Danvers, can you just break this down? So how much do you, I know we don't know everything yet, but can you just let the residents of Harlow know how much they could possibly be expecting to increase their council tax?
I think Essex, with the pressures that they have with social services, they're taking the absolute maximum of 5%, which is about the equivalent of an additional £50 a year. It's a Tory authority that's struggled in the past, and it's probably actually in many ways doing the right thing for the wrong reasons, because it hasn't really done well in the past in terms of providing social services very well. But it's catch-up time, and obviously the county are actually re-evaluating what the services that they're actually providing, particularly with the pressures in the National Health Service. One would imagine that better social services. Years ago, Essex used to actually have 40 homes throughout Essex that used to take the pressure off of the National Health Service. It has no homes under its direct control whatsoever now. So perhaps it's hopefully having a bit of a rethink about its own priorities.
And the Police and Fire Commissioner, he's putting up his part of the police.
Well, this is where it's so undemocratic. He just decides, rightly or wrongly. But if
he did have a poll.
But he had a poll of how. It's like beating your wife, at the end of the day he's going to get the answer that he wants. He had a poll whether in fact he should take over from the committed democratically elected fire authority, and he was told about that as well. So but if it's police on the streets, then once again I would welcome that. If it's a genuine effort to redress what the cuts that the Tories have been making in the past, they now realise with the last general election result that they've actually got to address austerity, and they've got to actually start putting services back in place. Then people get what they pay for.
You mentioned the Conservatives, and obviously we'll be giving them their right to reply on this, but you'll be expecting tricky questions from the Harlow Conservatives at the next, when this comes up.
Well, the Conservatives have just not really provided the basis of a sound budget for years and years. They left us with everything in chaos. The Playhouse funding run down, the museum funding run down, the Nature Reserve, Pets Corner, nothing had a secure future. And it's taken us about 4 years to actually get that back on track. And as Emma says, it's like Carillion. We have actually taken back from the private contractor who was then paying dividends to their shareholders. We're the shareholders in Harlow, and we need to actually appreciate that. We're paying back to the people of Harlow what they deserve, but equally we're able now to really put the show back on the road, guarantee that the Playhouse continual financing, Pets Corner, the museum, all of these discretionary services which the Tories were taking off the agenda and winding down, we're very much firmly re-establishing as the fabric of Harlow.
So just go about that again, Emma, because I know you're a big fan of the Harlow Playhouse, and so you're taking. What does that mean? What changing the relationship? And just explain that a little bit.
So
plus Pets Corner, sorry.
Of course, absolutely, yeah. So in 2012, when Labour took control of Harlow Council, all the discretionary services were in a fund that ran out. within 2 years. What we did was create a discretionary services fund, which helped us while we were trying to struggle with government cuts, enable us to do the day-to-day running of the Playhouse. What we've managed to do is get ourselves on a sound financial footing that enables us to bring that back into our general fund, which is our main budget, ensuring that the Playhouse will be funded every year from now on and its permanent future secured. But when we first came in, our priority was its short and medium term, and we always said we had long-term aspirations of securing that funding for the Playhouse and our other discretionary services. And what our budget for this year and our projections for the next 3 years is to bring all those services back into our general fund, secure the long-term future, to enable us and the people of Harlow to enjoy the services like the Playhouse, like Pets Corner, keep them affordable, not in private hands, not making a profit, but make it being funded by us. And actually some of those changes, I think the Playhouse will have seen in the past couple of years, the programming has changed. We've got a whole range of artists coming in, musicians, comedians, shows, and we want to celebrate that. We've had a fantastic year in Harlow 70, celebrating all that's great, and the Playhouse, to me, that represents that, and we're very proud that we're able to secure the long-term future for it.
Funding for an annual street carnival.
Yes, so our biggest part of Harlow 70 in the past year was seeing the celebrations. Culminated for me in July when we had our street carnival. It was a one-off. It was fantastic. The rain held off right to the end, but it was fantastic to see people lining the streets of Harlow. I've had my parents, my cousins, my nan, my aunts and uncles tell me about these street carnivals that we used to have in Harlow and the big celebration. I'm 28 and I don't really remember them, but it was fundamental joy. It was so good to see so many people out there in the streets enjoying it. We took note and we took what many people said, and we decided that we do need to celebrate Harlow and celebrate all that is great in Harlow. So we are proud to put in money, so every year we will have a street carnival here in Harlow to celebrate.
No compulsory redundancies?
Oh no. We've fought against that all the time. We've made sure that the staff are well rewarded as well. At the end of the day, they've got households to keep as well, and we're increasing the wage increase this year to 2%. I know it's still probably not quite enough, really. With inflation, the Tories have actually mismanaged the economy so badly. We've now got inflation at 3% and so on. Once again, we have given our staff a decent deal ever since we've been in, pay increase every year. The Tories, in fact, 3 years out of the 4 actually froze the staff wages, and 1 year they actually reduced staff wages. Now that completely demoralises the staff, and we've actually tried to raise them and lift them, and we've got a very committed workforce indeed, and that workforce needs to be recognised and rewarded from time to time.
And funding for council tower blocks and safety?
That's the housing revenue account. We're finding that difficult because the Tories have actually changed once again the rules about housing finance, but we are quite determined to find the 2 or 3 million, if we need to actually find it for the sprinkler systems. We have reassured ourselves, and we've tried to reassure the tenants, that we've got very, very safe tower blocks indeed. They are nothing like this experience. There's no cladding of that. The stairwells are absolutely insulated against any possibility of fire. There are monthly checks. The fire brigade have actually given everyone a clean bill of health, but nevertheless it should be belt and braces. And if we're able, well, we will be quite committed to making sure that everything's done to actually put sprinklers in where we can and where we need to.
And Councillor Toll, regarding community safety officers, because antisocial behaviour or crime, whatever you call it, I mean, it was in your own ward, a recent dispersal order. Is that going to be an answer to the problems that we have in Harlow?
I don't think it's going to solve everything, but this council is completely committed to being community leaders, and our community safety team in the past few years has dealt with some extremely difficult situations very well. The illegal traveller encampments and several other issues, and antisocial behaviour have been a priority. In September we used an underspend from the budget to fund 3 community safety officers, along with initiatives around cleaning up Harlow, so making sure it's tackling environmental crime as well as antisocial behaviour. What we're really proud in this budget is to secure these 3 officers in a permanent role, to make them part of the team, not just a 1-year funding. And the community safety team's priorities are quite clear on tackling enviro crime, littering and dumping does not help anyone. It costs the residents of Harlow, the ones who do put their rubbish in the bins, that don't throw their mattresses in alleys, and it's not right. We need officers to make sure we can enforce that, do education around envirocrime from a young age to stop that, and tackle antisocial behaviour. And I think we've already seen, I'm sure many people have already seen our three of our officers around the town, Bush Fair, and the Stowe, and they're doing a fantastic job, and we look forward to working in the future with them.
So you feel this is a vote which has to be proposed and voted as a democratic process coming up. You feel that you both feel confident that you can get this budget through?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely.
In unison.
This budget this year shows what a Labour administration has done for this council. Since 2012, we've come in, we've got the books straight, we've delivered services, we've ensured that we've done the best for people of Harlow and delivered financial security, and this is now paying dividends. So even though the government are cutting our budgets and giving our money down, we're able to generate our own income, and we've showed what a difference between a Labour council and a Conservative council can do. Instead of giving contracts out to companies and money into private shareholders, we're bringing that money back into Harlow Council and deliver it to the people of Harlow's pockets when they don't have to pay council in tax increase.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.